How we doing, everybody? I just wanted to do a quick thing because James Gunn recently threw out his plan for the DCU. I think it was the DCEU and the DCU. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's going on with that. And first, I wanted to show you one added to my collection here. The Atlanta Hot Toys figure. I got it directly from China. I don't even know if it's even been released. By the Nicole Kidman face is just phenomenal, and the spear here is the trident is metal, so pretty cool. Anyway, that's my newest collection to my Hot Toys. But anyway, so and again, we'll be talking about Aquaman. So I don't know if she's going to be in this one or not. We don't even know if Emma Herb's going to be in it or not. So I guess we'll find out. But let's talk about what James Gunn said and how I am kind of a little bit beside myself about what his announcements were. I know some people are excited. Some people are not so excited. I think I kind of fall into that not so excited thing. So he started out by saying there's going to be an Elseworlds. Okay, so everything that's already come before or is coming or leading to anything that's not in his plan is going to be an Elseworld. And that means Matt Reeves' Batman. Okay, so we're going to have a young Batman and we're going to have an older Batman. Okay, it's already confusing. This is the same guy that says, oh, we're going to tie everything together. Everything's going to be tied together, but not Batman. Everything but Batman. The Joker, as you know, we have our own deal of the Joker thing that's not connected to anything. So, you know, that's still happening. Already we got problems. So anyway, so we have a few movies coming out that are just going to end they're going to end the DCEU outside of this Elseworlds thing. And the first thing, of course, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I'm looking forward to this film. I think that Zachary Levi does a good job. It's not the Shazam I'm used to, as I've done in my previous videos, my review of Shazam. I prefer the Shazam that acts like an adult, not acts like a child. But I guess since I grew up with that in the ISIS hour thing, that Shazam is now a child. But I am looking forward to the Shazam family. That I liked. I'm a big fan of Mary Marvel. And you can't, in the comics, they're doing this too. They're calling them Shazam. You can't, that's why I always was Captain Marvel, which I know that we can't use Captain Marvel because of, Brie Larson. But you can't call them this Shazam. That's like saying, oh, they're in full adult mode, right? The kids. And they say, hi, I'm Shazam. They change. They cannot introduce themselves as Shazam. That's why it was always the Marvel family. So we had Mary Marvel and we had Captain Marvel and I can't remember all the other kids' names, but even the one that Elvis loved. But anyway, so you can't do that. And now even in the new comics with Mary Marvel, they're like, oh, her name is Shazam. That doesn't make any sense. People didn't think about it. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, we have that movie coming out. Looking forward to that movie because of the family. More than just Shazam himself. Of course, the villains all look good as well. Then we have Ezra Miller as the Flash coming up after that. And I love Michael Keaton, not going near that film. You will not find me anywhere near that film, on a television set, on a DVD, on the screen. Nowhere are you going to see me sitting in front of that. Even before Ezra Miller got into all his trouble, which is irrelevant to me, the they, them, whatever crap that he's into, stealing shit, beating people up, whatever he's into, that's beside the point. In the Justice League, he was so annoying. Quarter of the Justice League. Sitting through him for 2 hours being annoying, not doing it. So good luck with the Flash. In fact, they're holding on to him to possibly come back because they're waiting to see how that film does. So I hope the film trashes and burns because I've hopefully seen the last of him. Next, we have Blue Beetle. Again, these are things that already work, or already have a release date, etc. It's the kid, I don't know the kid's name, from Cobra Kai. I like that kid, don't like Blue Beetle. I have never been a fan of Blue Beetle. I'm more a fan of the Ted Kord Blue Beetle, but I'm not a fan of the teenage one. It doesn't work for me. Even when I play the video game, don't like that character. Just don't. So I'm probably gonna skip that one too, especially when we know it's not continuing. What does it matter? Next, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Again, I have no idea who the cast is. I have no idea if Black Manta is coming back. I hope this is the last. I don't think a lot of people are big fans of him. I know that he probably only made $1 billion because all the women wanted to see his abs. But I'm not a big Momoa fan. I don't really like Momoa as that character at all. I'm a huge Aquaman fan, and he's just not Aquaman. He's just not. And it's another take on the character, but he's not my Aquaman, and therefore I don't accept him. So I don't know what's going to happen with that film, but I don't know if he's going to continue. I guess they're going to see how that film does. I know they're probably going to replace Amber Heard, even if she is in that film. But I'm kind of praying that he becomes Lobo and we don't have to see him as Aquaman again. We can see more of a clean-cut blonde Aquaman like there should be. And that would end the DCEU. Done. So then we would move on to his new plan of the stuff he's writing or directing or just overseeing. We have, I know for the first few things, he's actually writing. We don't know if he's directing. And then he's going to be trusting that to other writer-directors as things go on. So the first thing he's got, well, he's calling the whole thing, it's like the Infinity War, he's calling this Gods and Monsters. So I have no idea how that, there is a thing called Gods and Monsters, but it's an Elseworlds. So it says nothing in the comics, I mean. So there's nothing here that he's pulling from the comics as far as an overall story, like Thanos was. So now we're going to be doing something that's off the wall. He's doing some stuff for animated television to begin with, and that's called Creature Commandos. Now, I'm a fan of Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein and all that stuff. Am I excited for a cartoon like that? I'm sure it'll be fun, but it's kind of a throwaway. It's almost like reading a comic issue that has nothing to do with the overall story. It's just a throwaway. So I don't know if he's going to connect that stuff or not. He's saying that sometimes he'll have the actors who playing the voices also be in live action, but I can't imagine those characters fitting into anything. See, here's the problem. So as you can see just from the first one, let's just go on for a couple more, okay? So then the next thing is another TV series called Amanda Waller, or just Waller. And Amanda Waller's a great character, but she's not a standalone. They're bringing her into the Peacekeeper universe or whatever. But who asked for that? I know he's probably a big fan of Viola Davis. He wants to work with her again. She's great in the role. Nothing I can say differently for that. But do we really want to see her in her own TV series? Like Nick Fury. Can Nick Fury really stand on his own? Probably not. It's the same deal. They need a group around them to kind of shine. So just from those two, he's kind of going obscure. In my opinion, unless he builds the Trinity first, he has no foundation. So he's got to do a Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. That is the Trinity. That is DC Comics. Without doing those three, he has no foundation. So I don't understand. He's starting out with this straw floor to build on. So you're going to have like failure after failure. Who's excited about any of those things? Nobody. Even DC Comics fans are not going to be interested in those two. I mean, they'll probably watch it, but he's going to be small. Probably have a smaller audience than friggin' Velma. So I don't know what he's thinking there. So then after that, then he starts to build, and he even says that this is really the beginning. So the other two are just throwaways. I don't know why he's just making throwaways that he's going to put on HBO Max. So we're going to get a new Superman. It's called Superman Legacy, and he's using the artwork to show it for All-Star Superman. And he's going to show the juxtaposition between his alien self to his farm boy self, and how he's correlating those. We don't get a villain. We don't know anything that's going on. The guy has no problem with his alien part. I mean, yes, growing up, he had to learn that he was different, but that was it. He never had a problem, correlating those two parts of himself. He went through a little period, but for the most part, he's accepted, especially being older. He's accepted those two parts. He's melded those two parts. I don't know where he's going with that, but again, it's not going to be an origin story, so that's good. We're just going to jump right in. Anything that's not Snyder's version of Superman is good. Henry Cavill, and I understand what they're doing because they need a Superman that's going to continue for 10 years. So, Cavill's already older. That's why they're going to probably get somebody younger that can fit that whole 10-year gap. So they can get somebody that's 30 and go up to 40 or 28 or whatever, and have him grow into the role. I hope they pick somebody good if we're going to see him for 10 years. That's the whole thing with this whole thing. If they got to cast it correctly because we're stuck with this person for 10 years. So that's the other problem, which Marvel did. Nobody wanted to see those characters change roles, any new actors come into those roles. So then we have the Lanterns. Everybody's excited about seeing Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart together, me included. But the Lanterns are space. They are space characters, okay? They have whole sectors that are their precinct, right? So the whole sectors of planets that they police. And now they're going to be stuck on Earth. So the whole thing is that they're investigating something on Earth, which is in their precinct, but I don't think it's in both of their precincts, right? I don't think they're both, supposed to be policing Earth. But anyway, so they're working together because they're trying to do a TV show, so they're trying to keep it contained, they're trying to keep it cheap, and therefore it's all going to take place on contemporary Earth. Is that the best way to do Green Lantern? Probably not. But it's good to see. It would be good to see those two characters together, but I'm excited about it a little bit because I get to see those two characters in, outside of what they did for the previous movie, which I really hope the costume's not computer generated. But outside of that, I guess we'll see because I'm not excited about them not being in space. Then we got Total Wild Card. So again, we have no Wonder Woman so far, right? We only have Superman. We have Green Lantern television show, no movie, and we have no Wonder Woman, right? And no Batman, no Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern on Earth. And we had Superman. That's the only one that he's built on with this list so far. So now we have the Authority. So we're doing the Eternals because the Authority is a Wildstorm thing that's never worked in comics. They've taken characters out and melded them with the regular DC universe, but when they bought these things, they barely have ever been together and worked. And plus, nobody knows these characters, right? Even I don't know all these characters because nobody's interested in them. So they're going to introduce all at once like 7 people, which is the same thing as the Eternals, and he's very excited about this thing because he wants to do a group thing, but nobody knows about these characters, and we're just throwing them out. Instead of getting Batman out before this and Wonder Woman out before this, he's doing a group that nobody knows about. Does that make any sense to you whatsoever? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. If he wanted a passion project, he should have done it after, when everything's already built up, and not shove this thing in the middle. The thing's going to crash and burn. Unless he's got the DC universe in there, the DC characters, nobody cares about these characters. So it's going to be another Eternals. I hope they're not spending a whole lot of money on it because it's not going to make anything. And on top of that, we haven't even built the Infinity War saga for DC yet. So if these guys are tying into that, nobody's been invested enough to even care. It's a problem. So then we have another TV show. Again, no Wonder Woman. Instead, we're doing a thing called Paradise Lost, which takes place on Themyscira, before Wonder Woman even exists. And they're doing a Game of Thrones, women killing women for the throne. What? Hippolyta has been the queen from the beginning. She's the one that built the island. She's been the queen. Nobody ever threatened her reign. Nobody. So, I mean, the comics now, she was supposedly assassinated and then came back to life and gave Nubia the throne, because she's, a woman of color, so therefore she has to be the new queen. But before that, for the last 50 years, she's been queen, and nobody's ever given her crap about anything. So now we're going to have this international intrigue based on Themyscira of assassinations and power struggle and what? What? The only positive to that is actually seeing maybe the costumes and the sets and seeing Themyscira. That's the only positive. The story's going to be shit. So, moving on. So we've had, so far film-wise, we've had Superman. We've had The Authority. And now we have Batman. So he's not doing even Superman, Batman. He's putting The Authority in the middle. What? And so Batman is going to have Damian Wayne in it as far as the Robin. Another mistake. Another mistake. So in all the movies throughout all the years, Chris O'Donnell has been the only Robin. The only Robin. Right? So we haven't even seen Robin in 20 years in any Batman film. Outside of maybe Lego. He needs to be starting. Okay, so here's what he could have done. He could have done the movie with the transition of Dick to Nightwing and even going over Tim. So they jump over Tim. And then go into Jason Todd, right? I mean, with Damian, Tim doesn't need to exist anyway. I mean, the comics, they should just be killing him off. Although they made him gay now, so they're probably not going to kill him. But they should just kill him. There's no reason for him anymore. He was one of my favorite Robins. He was obviously the Robin from Teen Titans Go and all that stuff. But he's superfluous now. So Damian Wayne is obviously Bruce Wayne's son. He was him and Talia Ghul had a child together. He didn't know about the child. In a big battle happened, and he was told that she lost the baby. He went back to Gotham, and she had the child and raised him as an assassin. So only years later did he even find out about it. Okay, that's the story of Damian Wayne. But Jason Todd was killed by the Joker. All right, and then Jason Todd was put into the Lazarus pit and brought back, and he was basically evil. Okay? So he carries around guns and he kills people, but he's still part of the Bat family, even though he's told not to kill anyone. So what we should have done was had Dick Grayson in the beginning, Jason Todd in the second one getting killed, and then we do the whole Red Hood story in the next one with Damian Wayne coming in. And boom, we have a trilogy. We have a trilogy that then marches on. But instead, we're starting with Damian Wayne, and it makes no sense. Plus, villain-wise, we are now with two different Batmans going on. We already have Catwoman, right? Even though Zoe Kravitz is not my favorite Catwoman, mostly because of her height, okay? She just doesn't have the height for Catwoman. She did a good job, but you saw how she just basically got thrown around like she was nothing. Selena Kyle wouldn't be thrown around because she's like 5'7", where Zoe Kravitz is 5'1". It just doesn't work. But anyway, so we wouldn't need another Catwoman if we had the Catwoman going on with the Matt Reeves stuff, and we don't need a Penguin. So each one of them could be, highlighting a different villain. Since there's so many great villains for Batman, I hope they kind of go down that road. So then we have going back into TV, we're doing Booster Gold. Okay, maybe a fun little throw, again, like a She-Hulk type of TV show where it's just fun and stupid. Okay, whatever. Then we go back into movie, and we're doing Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King. Tom King is a hack writer. I had so much faith for Tom King when he was doing he was doing Batman and Catwoman, and he teased them getting married. So he had sent out, there were invitations sent out. I'm like, oh my God, great. They're finally going to be married. And we're going to kind of move the story along a little bit. And on their wedding day, it doesn't happen. It was such a tease for no friggin' reason whatsoever. I even have J.G. Joel's wedding dress Catwoman statue. It was really a good job on all that, and it just didn't happen. So I have no faith in this guy, and I didn't even get the Supergirl, but it's going to be a dark Supergirl where she grew up on a piece of Krypton, she saw everybody die, so they want to juxtaposition her versus Superman, and it just, what? So instead of her being a girl of hope and being, kind of the carefree Kara, she's the dark juxtaposition to Superman's hope. Okay. Again, I don't think this is a good take on the character, but whatever. And then he's doing a horror thing for Swamp Thing. So again, no Wonder Woman, no Green Arrow, no Black Canary, which they could have done Green Arrow and Black Canary together. They got Damian Wayne in there. Here's what they should have done. Here's what I would have done if I was building this out. And, of course, Darkseid would have to be some of the main villain. But I would have built the Injustice League out of that. So everything have their own. So build out all of the individual characters of the Justice League, right? So each of them have their own film. So Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, whatever, right? Do like 5 Green Arrow or whatever. You could put anybody in there. So do like 5 individual films, just like they did with the MCU. And at the end, you have the last one. You have the Injustice League. You have them, all the villains that we've introduced in all the individual films, all get together now. They plot for the end of the world, whatever. And now we have our own Justice League film that has very high stakes, and and it could be multiple. Like continuation. Like this is the first part of their plan, the second part of their plan, and then there's your 10 years right there. So which is pretty much the same thing that the Infinity Saga did, and they retired the characters after that. And you retire the Justice League, you bring on the Titans, or you bring on whatever else, and boom. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So yeah, I'm not excited at all for any of this. I'm just not. I don't think this is going to go well. I don't think there's a good foundation for anything here, and we have no Wonder Woman. What? We have no Wonder Woman. How do we not have the Trinity? That was the best part of Batman vs Superman. Was them all standing together, the 3 of them, because that is the triangle. That is the triangle. Anyway, so, and we have no Aquaman at all. And he said it's only the first half of the first phase, so there's more coming, but that's already 4 films, right? And even if he does 2 films a year, right? So we're at 2025, 2026. You're not going to get this thing going until 2030. It's just a mess. All right, well, that's my take. Don't know. to quote Critical Trigger, I don't know. All right, and I am just about finished with the edit for Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. Very excited about it. I have now edited it like 5 times, had an editor go through it, proofreader go through it. If anything's still messed up, I don't know what to tell you. I can't go through it anymore. So I'm about halfway through my own 4th or 5th edit, and hopefully I'll be getting it to the person who does the layouts. Hopefully I'll be getting that to them within the next 3 weeks. and then it'll go to print. So we're pretty close, pretty close. Lords of LA behind me here is I'll put a link in the description for a place where you can pre-order yet Tales of Ravenor and Lords of LA. If you want to pick up the first issue, the second issue is almost halfway done, which means I'm going to be launching the Kickstarter shortly. So go ahead and pick that up too. And Destiny Aurora, the audiobook, still doing very well. If you haven't heard it, I'll put a link for Audible in the description as well. Definitely check that out. The voiceover artist did a great job. All the females have their own voices. All the males have their own voices, and it's awesome. So anyway, check that out, and remember put in the comments below how you feel about all this. And remember to subscribe and click the bell and all those YouTube things. All right? Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.